Hi, I'm Adam Kunzmiller with Board Game Geek TV, and we're here at Gen Con 2013. I'm joined by Bruno Catala with Hurricane Games, and we're here to talk about the Fantôme de Opera. Bruno?
So I think that many of the American gamers know really well Mr. Jack.
Mr. Jack,
yes.
Yep.
And this new game is a game including the Mr. Jack game systems.
Okay.
That means that it's always a two-player game.
Two-player, and the sides don't work quite the same way.
Exactly, exactly. An asymmetrical game.
Yes.
One player with a hidden identity, the other one trying to catch him. The core mechanism is very close to Mr. Jack, but there are really some things special in this game which makes the gaming experience different. With my friend Ludovic, we tried to make a balance between the standard board game and the pocket version, because the pocket version is easier to learn, faster to play,
more streamlined.
but you lose something with the team is less involved into the game.
Yeah.
And I like when the game teaches a story. So that's the reason why we try to make a mix between these two components and with another story. So the Fantôme de l'Opéra, which is a French book with some films, etc. So the action takes place in 1881 in France, in the Opéra Garnier. The Carlotta, the famous cantatrice, must make a recital. Okay? But she's frightened by a lot of small, strange events, making her fearing that there is a phantom in the opera.
So she's worried that something's going to go terribly wrong.
Exactly.
During her
In
recital.
fact, there is no real phantom, but one of the 8 suspects
is messing with her.
Trying to make her go away.
Okay.
That means that the goal for the player playing the phantom is to manage that this
drive her
token
away.
Arrive here.
Okay.
The detective tries to identify the situation. Now, how to play? The Phantom takes one card.
So that's how he determines who he is?
At random, okay. And then, on one round, we will activate, like in Mr. Jack, 4 characters, okay?
We'll go ahead and show these here.
Yeah.
So also, like Mr. Jack, they all have a little guide here to what their abilities are.
Activating a character means moving him and applying his special ability. Moving is really different than in the other games because when you move a character, if he's alone, he can move only one space.
Okay.
But if he's with other characters, he can move up to the number of spaces equal to the number of characters in the starting room. That means that everything will change very fast on the board, and you have to take that into your mind.
There's a lot more planning ahead with how far you're going to be able to get.
Exactly. Okay.
And that already is a big difference for Mr. Jack.
Yeah. The other big difference is that track.
Right.
Because there is no escape possible for the Phantom. Okay. And this track means that this token will move and try to arrive here. And for the starting position of this token, it depends on the difference of level between the 2 players.
So you have a little bit of a balancing here.
Exactly.
So if, one of them's a pro, maybe you started all the way back here.
In these 2-player games, it's very often one of the players is better than the other one. And this makes things, you get games which are always pleasant for the 2 players.
Sure.
Okay.
You can even have somebody, bid for where to start it or something like that for really competitive players.
So imagine that the situation after, so like in Mr. Jack, the detective plays 1, when I choose 2, he plays the last one, and the situation will have changed, okay? Imagine that the final situation is something like this. Now, as Phantom, if I play the Phantom, I have to say if there is a new manifestation of a Phantom or not.
Okay.
My character, my sacred character, can make a new manifestation of a Phantom if he's alone in a room, or if it is in the darkness room. Okay. Okay. Because into the darkness, it's the same as being alone. You can act secretly.
So all of these rooms are considered lit except for the room that this token is in. And this token actually covers the little light source.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Okay. And in that situation, if I say, yes, there is a manifestation of a Phantom, I'm not these 4 guys.
Right.
And they're flipped immediately.
Right, because they're not alone and they're in the light.
And now, this token will move he will move as many spaces as there are still suspects.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, +1, because I have a bonus because there was a manifestation of a phantom.
Right.
Okay.
So.
And that's the game. Okay. Maybe I don't know if it's really necessary to go on the specific abilities of each character.
Well, I think that's a pretty good overview. You get a good feel. Are there any specific abilities that are also really different from what things happen in Mr. Jack?
Yeah, this one, for example, which is the person, when moving, he can take another character with him and move with him until the end of the move, or dropping.
Or he can drop them off.
Exactly.
Right.
Blue unlocks some path and blocks some other one. He repairs the light, but it breaks immediately elsewhere. He can swap this position, and her, which is the daughter of the concierge, she's the only which can use the secret path.
Ah, got it. That's these little highlighted routes here. Great.
And that's
so it sounds like fans of Mr. Jack will have a lot of new cool things to dig into here.
Yeah. And one last final thing which is different from Mr. Jack is when you draw alibi cards. In these cards, you still have Fantôme cards.
Ah, so they don't learn anything about who you might be.
But if the detective draws that card, she comes back one space because the detective could prove that the last manifestation was human.
Right. It wasn't what was frightening her.
Exactly. But if the Fantôme draws that card, she goes one step more. So it's always interesting to go into this deck, even at the end of the game, which is not really the case in the standard Mr. Jack.
Right. Great. Well, that was Le Fantôme de Opera.